Ocelotl is a ferocious hunter that stalks his opponent, striking when the time is right. And he does this by playing like every other Infinite Chain hero.
One of us.
Ocelotl is the most boring midlander Ubisoft have added so far. Despite donning the Jaguar pelt, this Aztec-inspired warrior has the mechanical depth of a house cat, and to prove it, I'm going to spend the next 10 hours learning Ocelotl inside out, and the outcome might surprise you. So, for my first hour, I had to gauge where my general skill level was at after taking an extended break from For Honor. Pop, pop, bang! I was hit with a double whammy as I had to re-familiarise myself with the fundamentals whilst learning Ocelotl's moveset.
Oh, I just punted him in the freaking tee. Oh, I'm so good at the game, parry and dodge lights. I'm dead. So rusty.
Yeah.
Despite being incredibly rusty, I was managing to win a lot of fights, and that's because Ocelotl is made for ganking.
Oh, here we go, boys. Oh, I didn't even get freaking it, mate.
His large, sweeping hitboxes and bashes that pin enemies in place make him deadly when paired with a heavy-hitting character like the Warlord.
I'll have a bit of that. I'll have a bit of that, you don't mind? Help me, small lad. Oh, I'll have that.
They don't make men like me anymore. Dying breed.
However, For Honor syndrome didn't take long to set in, and my mood quickly soured in hour 2 after several matches of getting stomped on.
I'm in need of assistance. I parried that. They removed parrying from the game.
Parrying was too hard, so I removed it.
Now, I'm no For Honor god, but Ocelotl feels particularly hard to anti-gank with. Try getting into any sort of flow with him when you have a fear of smacking the goofy out of you.
Cool, I totally just threw the affair into that guy.
After getting increasingly tilted during a breach match, I had to reassess my approach. I'm a big believer in baptism by fire, sink or swim, if you will, but charging into Dominion without getting a basic grasp on Ocelotl might not be the best approach. So I took a step back and spent the next hour in the training arena downloading his moveset. There was one move that continued to baffle me, and that was the prowling stance. After doing the input, Ocelot squat jumps backwards and looks like he's going to take a fat poski. This stance has almost no utility. You can't flow into it from any other move, and your only option is a leaping heavy attack that a blind man could see coming. But me being me, I was determined to find some kind of application for this. The leap has no hyper armor, so it can't be used to trade. However, it would appear you have iframes to a degree when backstepping, meaning it acts like a pseudo hidden stance like Nabushi's, but a lot less practical. I don't know why the devs didn't make Ocelotl a bleed-centric hero, especially given his choice of weapons. They could have really fleshed this stance out by having it become accessible once he had procced bleed on an enemy, like how Shaman and Peacekeeper unlock new moves when they're attacking a bleeding opponent. These moves could then be more animalistic to reflect him going in for the kill, but as the stance stands, it's kind of pointless, risky, and it just has like an incredibly niche application. Feeling somewhat refreshed, I spent the next hour putting what I had learned in the training arena to use, even trying to incorporate the prowling stance. Although I was being methodical in my gameplay, I couldn't help but feel like I was playing an Unga Bunga hero the whole time. This was exacerbated by hearing the word Willy more times than your mum does on a Friday night.
Why does he keep saying Willy for?
Yeah, I know. Very poor choice of words. I'm already dead because I'm in a constant stun lock.
Oh, he got me with that one. He got me on my Willy. He got my Willy.
The Unga Bunga playstyle might have been a combination of his straightforward moveset and the fact every player I was fighting would dodge after the first attack in my chain.
Why are you doing that? Bro, like, come off it! Like, what are these guys doing? He just did it again, man! Like, come on! Oh, and you, and all. What is wrong with these freaking people? Go on, do it again, you freaking loser. Oh, this game is so bad.
But despite my rage indicating otherwise, I was feeling satisfied that I had a better understanding of the character, and I decided to call it a night. I awoke from my slumber to Ubisoft dropping a patch effectively nerfing Ocelotl. The more notable changes affected Jaguar's Claw, which no longer pins or deals damage, instead guaranteeing a light attack. So the character that is marketed as a ganker has had his ganking potential reduced to be similar to that of other heroes. This makes going for a second bash from Jaguar's tail less than ideal, as you're ending the chain for less damage. Newbie, what are we doing here? Let's just make the ganker and disabler just fucking disabled instead, yeah? Nerfing a new hero when they're still in early access must be some kind of record. They knew what they were doing when they made him, and the move wasn't strong enough to warrant a week 1 nerf. Just lowering the damage would have sufficed. This meant as I made my way into hour 6, the change began to highlight some of the bigger issues with the hero. Most of you will know by now, Ocelotl can form an infinite chain using a combination of zones, bashes, light and heavy attacks. Repeating the same input one after another will finish the chain. Add in the mandatory dodge attacks and lackluster hidden stats, you have an incredibly underwhelming combination of moves. Then the worst possible thing happened. I was bored. In less than 7 hours, I felt like I had learned everything there was to know about Ocelotl. Or had I? I took myself to the For Honor Info Hub to make sure I had covered every ground. Here you can learn all of the possible punishes and quirks that a character has. Because of his mid-chain bash damage, Ocelotl has some interesting punishes he can pull off. For example, his most optimal punish following an out-of-stamina parry is dodge forward light into bash into light. Now, this only does 1 more damage compared to doing light-heavy, but sometimes that extra 1 point of damage is just what you need. There's even a cheeky wall splat, Pan au Chocolat, using prowling stance that you can pull off, providing you're far enough away when you throw an enemy that you can guarantee the hit. If you get some synergy going with a teammate, their gank potential here is absolutely filthy. Learning these new punishes lifted my spirits, and as I began to near the end of my challenge, I wanted to try and play around with Ocelotl's feats more. It's not as bad as it sounds, and that's because the feats accomplish something Ocelotl doesn't. They are unique. I can't work out if Huntsman's spirit is balanced or absolutely broken. I'll let you lot decide, but it does change the flow of gameplay without being overly oppressive to the enemy. As for the tier 4, do not say it. Get over here! This one's kind of whack, but it's fun, and we like to have fun, don't we, big boys? And as the final hour is upon us, I am sick to bastard death of this hero. Everything about Ocelotl is inspired except the one thing that matters, his moveset. The art direction, animations and feats are all pretty good, but Ocelotl suffers from the same issue that has plagued the last half a dozen heroes. His moveset has no depth. He is so overly simple that he feels unfinished. Ocelotl should have played as a heavy version of Shaman, with his primary gameplay loop being inflicting bleed to activate his second stance to close a kill. The infinite chains wouldn't be so offensive if it was only 1/2 of his moveset. What it's like is Ocelotl, he's like a sandwich, yeah? But he ain't got no filling. Hang on, bloody well, hang on. Definitely done this one before. What it's like is a sandwich. Imagine is 2 pieces of bread, yeah? But he's got no filling. He just feels a little unfinished. A new hero should be a breath of fresh air, not a rehash of what is already in game. And Ocelotl has had no impact, making him the most boring hero in For Honor. Bit of an exaggeration, but not really, so let me know what you think in the comments.